It's been a while since I built anything for Mordheim, and for my first build back, I wanted to make something that was interesting from every angle, both from a gameplay point of view, but also aesthetically. So, let's go back to the world of grimdark fantasy, shall we?
Hey folks, so yeah, I'm back. Although it's only been about 4 months since my last video, Devs and Dice has been taking a little bit of a backseat lately. I've been working full time and focusing on my health, going to the gym and eating right. Over the last year and a half, I've actually lost about 40 kilos or 88 pounds, and I feel a lot healthier than I've done in a long time. In my quest to be more active, I've also rediscovered a childhood hobby of mine, fishing. And apparently I can't have a hobby without starting to make things for it. So I've started making fishing lures as well. So between work, the gym, fishing, and doing other things, I haven't always felt super motivated to do things for the tabletop. I'm not going to make any grand promises about Devs and Dice, but I do think that I'm going to start exploring a little bit of different things. But recently I did have the urge to try something out for the tabletop, so we're going back to Mordheim again.
For this build, I actually spent a little bit of time figuring things out in Tinkercad first. The footprint is only about 6 inches square, but I didn't want to make just another square box. So I rounded off one corner, cut another one away, and started thinking less about which side was the front of a building and more about what you'd see as you moved around it. I wanted every angle to give you something, some reason to turn the building around and look at it from another direction. And that applied to gameplay as well. Different elevations, openings for movement, and a walkway around the outside. Basically, I wanted this to feel like a piece of playable terrain rather than just a nice model sitting on the table. I also wanted the different parts of a building to have their own character. Most of it would use my usual timber framing and wattle and daub, while this whole curved section would be much heavier brickwork, which left me with this absolutely enormous blank wall. And I had plans for that. Slightly terrifying plans, but we'll come back to those. The footprint itself was laser cut from 3mm board, and I started by covering it in leftover coffee stir sticks. There's nothing particularly clever going on here, I just really like these for floorboards. They're cheap, they're actual wood, and once they are beaten up and painted, they look the part. For the curved section, I hot glued some cardstock around the edge to give myself something to build against. I'd already marked out the different floor levels and roughly where I wanted the ruined sections to be. And then, you guessed it, bricks. Lots and lots and lots of tiny bricks. These are 5 by 5 by 10 millimeters, laid individually in alternating patterns. This is one part of terrain building I can confidently say I did not miss. The destruction in Mordheim is never entirely random. As the walls went up, I could cut away the backing whenever I wanted an opening. Some of that might be purely visual. Ruins should, after all, look ruined. But some of it, let's be honest, most of it is deliberately there to let miniatures move through the structure. That's something I wanted to keep thinking about throughout this build. Not just, does this look cool, but more, what can I actually do with this on the table? I added balsa beams along the inside of each floor level. They'll eventually support the floors, but they also break up what would otherwise be fairly ridiculous amount of uninterrupted brick. And with the masonry taking shape, I could move on to some other territory. The timber-framed half starts as a plain foam core. I temporarily glued my plans onto it, cut everything out, and started adding the timber framing. At this point, there was also quite a lot of dry fitting. Because I'd designed everything digitally beforehand, so naturally every component fit together absolutely perfect the first time. Naturally. The truth of the matter is that it never is exact, and there's always, when fantasy hits reality, there's some uncomfortable truths, so dry fit often. The exterior walkway was one of the things I knew I wanted from the beginning. Rather than having all of the useful space inside the building, it wraps around the outside and connects different openings and levels. Depending on which way this sits on the table, you're getting different routes through it, different firing positions, and different little stages for fights to happen on, or, this being Mordheim, places for people to fall off. And while I'm slowly covering this thing in tiny pieces of wood, I need to stop for a moment and say thank you to my patrons. Particularly because quite a few of you have continued supporting Devs and Dice, even while I haven't exactly been prolific with the videos. I genuinely appreciate that. Thank you. And a special shout out goes to my champion and legend level patrons. So thank you Agresomnia, Andreas Winberg, Jem Kapoch, German Garcia, Gunnar Byström, Henrik Mannerstråle, Hunter's Cave, Madners, Magnus Solberg, Anton Hand, Arjen Angenent, Fluffy CH, Oliver Granlund, RD, and The Elderkind. Next up were some of the architectural details. I modeled a set of windows specifically for this build, printed them in resin, and glued them in directly into the openings. With those in place, I could add some sand texture paste to the foam core, giving me that rough, uneven stucco finish I wanted for the wattle and daub. I also modeled these cornerstones for the brick section. Nothing particularly complicated, but they help frame the masonry and make the whole thing feel a little bit more architectural. And of course, I'll make both of these STLs available for you to download. The painting process is pretty much the same as I've shown in plenty of previous videos. I did, however, get to try out the new Mobius TG airbrush, kindly sent to me by Galeri. The 0.5mm setup made quick work of the priming, zenithal, and my usual brown umber ink pass. Thank you, Galeri. Remember that slightly terrifying plan I mentioned earlier? Well, this is it. I'd never tried stenciling anything like this before, and doing it for the first time on an almost finished building felt like a terrible idea. But I wanted to give it a go, and for a first attempt, I think it turned out pretty well. The stencils are available if you'd like to try it out yourselves. So let's have a look at the final result, shall we? And there we have it. I have to say, I really love how this one turned out. I had a fairly clear idea of what I wanted when I started, but I think the finished building actually came out better than I expected. I especially like how different it feels depending on which way you look at it. And even that slightly terrifying plan for the big blank wall somehow worked out in the end. But I'd really like to know what you think. Let me know in the comments what you liked, what you would have done differently, or if there's anything you'd like to see me build next. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.